So after all this time of, I figured out I should be framing my first shot up to and holding position there, like what I'm doing now, so that my YouTube image is like my YouTube thumbnail image is usually taken in the first couple frames of your video. So this way I can actually pick the image I want for the YouTube video. So here we are. This is Digital by InsaneGuyWTF and Dark Souls Jeff. It is on the canvas Truth. Let that sink in for a second. This is on Truth. Okay, you cannot generate light on Truth. So we're just going to run in and see what happens. Okay, no man cannon, just a straight drop down. The canvas of Truth has really strange lighting. Like, you can place a stone and let me just try that. I'm actually not sure if you can, but let me just try that. I'm going to go natural pieces. Let's go to Alpine. No, you know what? Let's go to Alpine, flats, and spawn a flat. And that's what a flat looks like. See, it's all shiny and metallic and reflective. And that's a flat. That's the natural terrain piece. So anything you spawn in is going to have this this look to it. And you've got no choice. But then again, it doesn't matter what piece you place. It's all going to have the same kind of decoration to it. And it is a kind of a cool area. The lighting's a bit wonky back here. I'm not sure how everyone's going to like it, but it is what it is. So let's see how the map is. Let's see how it is technically anyhow. There's a bit of frame rate across here. Test that in game. As I always say, Forge mode applies a little more frame rate than the game does. If you still get frame rate, you're going to have to find a way to simplify your structures or whatever it is. It's hard for me to make out what you're actually doing in here. But you have to simplify it until the frame rate goes away. It's simple as that. No frame rate, no maps will be considered in the finals if they have a frame rate issue. So get that fixed. It's absolutely essential that your frame rate be fixed, okay? Now this map has, let's start at the top. Start at the top as always. It should be okay. These pieces aren't too bad for the bomb because there's just a little bit of a layer. Let's just try it and see. I'm always concerned that the ball is going to get stuck up high, but I'm pretty sure those are that particular piece. I think I've tested these before. Where's the game modes? There it is. Ball only. Let's set that to normal physics. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's set to normal physics. And see the ball, it's solid to the ball. So it's like there's an invisible blocker in there. So you don't have to worry about the ball getting caught on the ledge in this, because that is actually solid as far as the ball is concerned. Yeah, so don't have to worry about those pieces there. Okay, so that's fine. It's really hard to make stuff out on this. Oh, there is a problem. Okay, the ball will get stuck up in here. So you're going to need to plunk down an invisible blocker to block off this piece here. I'm just wondering if you can't... turn down the intensity of the emissive piece, because it's at 12 now. I turn it down to like 2 or 3, because that's really super bright. No, maybe it does need to be that bright. Yeah, I can see why you've done it now. Once you turn it down, it doesn't look like that at all. Okay, that's fine. It's really hard to see what's going on here, but just make sure that the ball can't get stuck in any of these nooks and crannies. But I would say just invisible blocker this whole piece off. Grab a 64. Let's see if that's the right size. Extras, invisible blocker, block. Let's just grab a 64, 32. That didn't quite cut it. Yeah, there's still a lip here and a lip here. So you'll need a larger block or yeah, just grab the next size up, which is a 128. Wrong. Oh, that's wrong too. I don't know if I'll be able to spawn it in here. You want something that's 128, 128. There you go. Just put that in the center of the court. Put it down to about there. And then you don't have to worry about any of that. Now you could fancy it up by using smaller ones and make a use smaller ones and turn them on an angle. Like so. You get the picture. I'm not going to do it for you, just to get the picture. And just so you block it up so that the invisible blockers are on 45-degree angles, and then another one across here. So you could use the 64 or 64 and then put 4 more around the side to cut down that angle, so that any ball that's tossed up there will just sort of head back down without getting snagged on anything. So take care of that. That's the first major thing. These are perches. I believe they are perches. Hard to tell sometime. Either way, the ball's likely to get snagged up in these pieces. So, so you're using a 1 by 28 by 128 by 1 wall. Just stick another one in there. Yeah, I can't spawn another one, but just put 2 side by side, just to get rid of this the possibility of a perch right in that area. So you have one on the left of it, one on the left of it, one on the right of it. So it's totally encased in invisible blockers. Just so do that for all of them. Yeah, this is kind of messy. I don't know what would snag the ball in here. Whoa, that was freaky. I got a little bit too close to this piece, and I thought I was looking at something else. I thought I was under here. That's just as weird. Anyhow, it's really freaky forging in here because of all the weird reflections and yeah. So I would say in the case of that, just block that whole thing off with an invisible blocker. Just continue on the ones that are there and continue it to that side, just so that whole area is blocked up, so there's no potential for problems there. Now, there are a few problems on the floor as well. The first of which is called cover. Okay. If you the rule is that any player should be able to see every spawned enemy player at all times from any location on the map. So if I'm standing here and the enemy player is standing here, we can't see each other. Okay? You must be able to see all standing players. Now I say standing because sometimes you get bumpy floors, and if two players are crouched, they might not be able to see each other. I'm okay with that. But players that are standing, you must be able to see. If you have, you can't play hide and seek on your court. You see what I mean? If I'm standing here, no one should be able to hide anywhere. So there's no hiding, there's no cover in Grifball. So you'll have to put invisible blockers up to keep them out. And the other problem with them is that's also an obstacle or an obstruction. You see, when I'm running backwards, and I get caught on that. And that's another guideline you must follow for Grifball courts, is you can't catch players up. They must be able to back pedal, like in their they're having a hammer battle or a sword battle, and they want to back pedal a bit and then strike. Well, this stops them from back pedaling, and it really throws them off. So get rid of all the obstructions around the edges. That only counts at floor level. If your wall hops have a bit of obstructions on it, that's not as serious, even though these ones are perfectly clear. Your wall hop ledge or your clamber ledge is a bit low, but we'll allow it. They prefer it to be higher, but that's okay. One of the problems here is that it's not a huge issue. Actually, I'll let it go in this case. Usually when Grifball players see a wall, they expect to be able to jump on it, and in this case they can't. Okay, this case they can't. If they don't see a wall, don't put an invisible wall, and if they do see a wall, you should make it so that it's clamberable or jumpable. So what I would say is yeah, I don't know what to say without messing up your design, but if you could put these statues here, let's see if this would work before I recommend it. If you took these statues and moved them up, and you took these walls and you move them up as well, just so they look much higher than a standard Grifball height wall, then that would be more acceptable. Just if you could just raise those up a little bit, just so they didn't appear like all the other courts that have wall hop ledges. The Grifball player will see this, go, yeah, that's way higher than a regular wall, so they won't expect to be able to jump off of it. Even though you probably could reach that, visually it doesn't look like a wall hop wall, because it's just a little bit higher. So try doing that to those. I don't know if it changes the look that much. Yeah, it doesn't change the look that much, but as I said, I'll leave that up to you, but I'd recommend raising it up a bit. So what do we have here? The wall hop ledge, the ceiling, clean up the ceiling, make sure there's no frame rate whatsoever in game, and if there is, you'll need to simplify it. It's a bit freaky that the floor is not the floor, but because when you look up here, it looks like you should be able to stand on that ring, but it's way, way below you. But I don't think that's a problem. That's not a concern that I have. I don't know how the judges will feel about it, but that's up to you and your design. But otherwise, considering the canvas, you've done a nice job. Visually, it's not too bad, and we've actually tested the idea of making a canvas or a template up here. We haven't done it yet, but the way I usually do it is if someone is building a Grifball court in an unusual place, like here, we let them publish their map first, and then we'll come to them and say, hey, can we make a template there? We don't want to, while he's working on this map, set up a template and then have 50 other people build here. We always give them the opportunity of being first with their map, and then we'll come to them later. So maybe after the contest is over, we'll talk to the builder and see if it's cool to put an official template up here for people who want to make freaky maps like this. But yeah, so yeah, fix that frame rate and clean up the ceiling, clean up the walls, and anything else that I've said, and edit your original map post with the changes.